So look, this is my nose, and it's like my nose is going to be red. I look like Rudolph right now. So in my video for the course, if my nose is red, you know why. Um, I want a copy of your book. It will be, and it's great. It's a book about putting the soul back in soulmates, which I feel that we have let the mask of masculinity or the male mind drive too many engines of awareness. And the hello, Loa, and the beauty of the female, of the woman, of the goddess has not been allowed to be what it's truly designed to be, the beautiful nature, the beautiful flexibility, this nurturing nature that will ultimately help us to design a better world. That's just how I see it. Hello, Panti. I've been giving women's empowerment for 20 years. So I'm a longtime women's empowerment. I believe that women are here to shape and make the world. The men are here to build it. The women are here to forecast it and to put it out there in a way that makes it great and grand, peaceful. Hello, Ashley. So in the course of today's message, I wanted to say something that I feel is my opinion, but you can take it for what it is. Hello, Gemma. So there is 2 times in your life, and I said this just now on Instagram, there's 2 times in your life that are powerful. They talk about the date of your birth and the date you die, and then what you do with the dash in between. Well, unfortunately, when you say dash, our language is power, so we innately think of running, right? The dash, but it's actually pacing it. It's not a race, it's a pace. The moment of birth, as any of you that have children, yeah, any of you that have children, hello, Ania. When you have a child, that baby needs you. That baby is aware, awake, and it will let you know when it's hungry. It lets you know when it's upset. It lets you know when it's happy. It lets you know everything. It's not holding on to anything. It is aware. It is active. It is vibrant. It is trusting. It has to trust. It doesn't have a choice. So when you're passing away, when you're at that last moment, hello, Smita, hello, Susan, when you're at that last moment at death's door, you don't have a choice. If you die in your sleep, you knew it before. I'm 100% positive. My dad knew. When I crossed over and came back, I knew that night something was going to happen. So we have an awareness of death. Now, these 2 moments in life represent a level of vulnerability. You can't stop death. It's coming. It's there, and you're vulnerable. You have to surrender. There's no way you can fight it. It's just there. And then when you get there, you are close to source. So during birth and during death, you're closer to source than you've ever been. So being closer to source makes you very, very, very strong. Do you see it? So you have source as your strength. Source is your sustenance. Source is your calibrator. Source is you're plugged in, right? You're plugged in completely. But you are ultimately the most vulnerable at that point that you've ever been. So in my mind, what I feel like, just observation from my own experience and expansion, if I'm close to source and closer to source at birth and death, then what does that mean? It means that I'm more vulnerable the closer I am to source. Wait. Hello, Tammy. Hello, McKinley. I'm more vulnerable the closer I am to source. The closer I get to source, the more vulnerable I become. So all of you empaths out there, your empathic nature is bringing you closer to source. It's not a curse. Screw people who say being an empath is a curse. No, it is, you're being closer to source. So if being closer to source is about being at your most vulnerable state, vulnerability is not a weakness. Vulnerability is a gift. Vulnerability is a strength. You're strongest. That's why I always say vulnerability is my superpower. Being vulnerable is my superpower. So when I'm vulnerable, I'm being myself. I'm being my truth. I'm being everything that's the evidence of me. I am allowing myself to be nurtured by my surroundings. I'm allowing myself to be cared for, to receive it. When you're at death's door or when you're at birth's door, you are allowing yourself to experience nurturing from other people. You're trusting people to provide nurture for you. You're trusting people to be there for you. You're surrendering to a tribal mentality. You're surrendering to a conglomerate of people that are from the Creator, that are coming there and helping support you. So vulnerability is the way you call out for the people that will help you to be close to source. Everyone is a piece of a puzzle, and that's what YouTube's going to talk about tomorrow. And that piece of the puzzle, we all fit together. Think of a puzzle. You have a puzzle. It's a big picture, and there's pieces. Well, when the puzzle's separate, it's just a piece. There's no picture. You see random stuff on it, colors and whatnot, like us as an individual. The picture is not necessarily visible as the piece. Two pieces come together, it makes a little more sense. Three pieces come together, makes more sense. Four pieces come together, makes a lot of sense. Five pieces come together, shit, you've got a corner of a puzzle. You've got, you can see the rest of the picture with your mind and imagination. When all of these pieces start coming together, the picture comes back to its center. This is you seeing yourself and other pieces, other people. You are a piece of the pie. So to see yourself, to see your life as a puzzle, to see the souls as a puzzle, one big soul split apart into multiple pieces of a picture, each piece making that place and holding that space to be part of the big picture. So the big picture is all things. It's the picture of everything. The little piece is a part of that piece, but it's still a picture. Just you can't see the full picture in the piece. Are you confused yet? So when you are here and you are part of this puzzle, remember, embrace the pieces around you. Don't punish those pieces. Don't destroy those pieces, because then you're going to have a hole in the puzzle. Remember also, you fit together. You're formed to fit together. You don't fight fitting together. You don't create an obstruction. You create a flow. It's about flowing. Even one of my wonderful acquaintances, I don't know her personally, but I know her from social media, Ashley Cooper, she said today, sometimes doing nothing is what you need to do. Sometimes doing nothing is doing something. Sometimes doing nothing is doing nothing, and that's not what you want to do. But sometimes it's not about fighting it. It's about flowing with it. So when you start to see the bigger picture, when you start to see that you're a piece of all things, you are understanding, again, my example, to be repetitive, because repeating makes sense, because repeating allows you to learn it. You are a wave, and we are the ocean. You are a wave, we are the ocean. You are a piece to the puzzle, to the big picture. And that big picture helps you to identify. And the way to bring those pieces together is to be as close to source as you can. That means expressing yourself, but also exercising vulnerability, not victimization. Being a victim and vulnerability are two different things. Being a victim means that you're not embracing vulnerability as a strength. You're looking as a weakness, so you're counterintuitive on your vulnerability. I'm vulnerable, and I don't allow myself to view vulnerability as a weakness. If I do have points when I have victimization triggered in me. However, I'm able to look at the big picture, all the pieces, and see that the victimization isn't appropriate. It's about vulnerability, validation, establishing value. The more value I have in myself, the more I can be vulnerable. If that makes sense. I wanted to express something here to you as well. Hello, Lindeep. Here's what I wanted to read a quote to you. Let me find it. It's by ALLENE Rufus. And it says, life is a game of chess. To win, you have to make a move. Knowing which move to make comes insight, and knowledge, and by learning the lessons that are accumulated along the way. So a game of chess is symbolic for strategy, for understanding, for not overstepping your boundaries, embracing your boundaries, knowing how much you can move, knowing the power of your piece. Again, the puzzle, like a chess piece, knowing the power of your piece, knowing where it fits, knowing the appropriate place that that piece goes. Like for me, I've got a big mouth. My piece is over here like a little alarm clock. So that's my piece. So everybody that comes around and joins into my piece of the puzzle is willing to listen to me as a alarm clock going, eh, eh, eh. I've got the red button. No, I'm just kidding. So, and your piece might be a singer, might be an artist, might be something like a beautiful, like painter. It might be like, maybe you're something like a healthcare provider like Rose. Maybe you're a dynamic motivator like Jessica. Maybe you're a healer like Satina. These types of things are your role in how you're going to kind of bring these pieces together. That's where you understand your passion and your purpose. And vulnerability starts by being vulnerable to yourself. Being vulnerable to yourself, because this is all about seed planting, right? Vulnerability is about seed planting. It's about giving the seed to the soil and allowing it time to grow. Giving the seed to the soil and trusting in the source where the seed is planted to take over and to nurture, as long as you protect it, provide for it, and you are able to keep the passion and understand where it's placed. So when you are passionate, when you are providing for that passion, you're invigorating, you're establishing vulnerability for yourself. Being vulnerable to you, that's important. Being gracious to yourself. You have to be vulnerable to yourself in order to understand your truth. Hello, Allison. My piece is David Bowie. I love David Bowie. Yes. Let's see, Loa. Dictionary says vulnerable, susceptible to emotional attack or harm, in need of superficial care or protection. Ryan. Well, let's see. Okay, so the dictionary, just like all things, like the philosophers. How many philosophers of the great philosophers are women? Anybody give me a great answer on that one. How many of the great philosophers are women? Nobody? No great philosophers are women? Why is that? Do women not have philosophy? Do women not have great thoughts? The people that write the dictionaries, the people that define the words, are using words to lasso you in. Vulnerability is not being susceptible. That's a term. Vulnerability means being intimately able to be available. Your boundaries, if they're healthy, do not allow attack, because you understand your place. You understand where you're at. That's why the whole point of turn the other cheek means that's vulnerability. So unless it's always your voice is echoing the choice you choose. For instance, I'm going through skin cancer treatment. I could look at it as a negative, or I can look at it as a positive. I could look at vulnerability as an emotional attack, in harm, needing special care. I could choose that, but I'm a conscious being. I don't have to, and I choose not to. And my vulnerability is my superpower. My vulnerability is my strength. It's my availability to be there for someone, even if they don't see me. And that is healthy boundaries, healthy living, being my best being. Let's see, who else? Pandip, hello. Don't embarrass me. So that's my answer to that. If it wasn't pleasant, if it's not in agreement with you, I apologize, but I can't be anybody but myself. And my answer doesn't have to be your answer, but that's my answer. And that's how I feel about it. And my feeling is an opinion. An opinion is expressed by me personally. It doesn't have to be you. And then Asadon Brown also said, self-talk reflects your innermost feelings. So if my self-talk is affected by other people's negative intentions, then my self-talk becomes negative, and I don't choose that. I'm a conscious, free-thinking being. I'm a free will. I'm not a slave. I'm a slave to society because I have to show up to work and I drive a car, but I'm not a slave to anything. I'm a servant of source. I'm a professor of source. I'm a soul first and foremost, and a body second. So I will observe the positive. I will, when there's negative, I swerve. Has anybody seen that? There's that YouTube or that Facebook thing where the guy's like jogging, like and dancing, and there's like, it says like a negative, and he goes, whoa, and it's like over here, it's like drama, and he's like that. That's my choice. And my choice is echoed in my voice always. And if the definition isn't what I define, nobody rules me. I can make my own definitions. I can make my own words. I can make a word that doesn't even make sense if I choose to, because I'm a free being. I'm a free being. That's just how I see it. Sarah says, I have a quick question. How do you deal with triggers like high anxiety at a workplace? I'm really sensitive to energies around me. I know I'm being triggered and there's a lot of lessons to learn. Well, Sarah, first and foremost, breathing techniques, right? There's the 3-second breathing where you focus on breathing and breath. If you can get outside and do some bending breathing, rolling breathing. Rolling breathing is where you so I'm going to exhale as I bend over, let my hands dangle, and inhale as I reach up to the stars and go and give it a sound. I give my breath its own being, and I'm consistently aware of my breath. One of the other things is just to go outside, kick your shoes off, and stand in the grass. That will ultimately actually take your mind from that place of anxiety, and it will ground you, your polarity. It'll pull out all that ionic activity that's negative and put that positive into you. So anybody come out with I have an article I will share on the 3 female alchemist philosophers. Maya Angelou is my favorite. I love Maya Angelou. And the reason why I'm saying this, and this is why the twin flame community is also, we have to take everything with a grain of salt and an opinion. I'm expressing my opinion from my experience. Plato was worshiping 9 gods. Plato was living in a male-dominated society. Plato was also a chauvinist. So a lot of the great philosophers chose to derail the sage wisdom of the past. They wanted to put something in a process that was contained and controlled into a school of thought, because they wanted to be able to tell you what to think, ultimately. Sages, shamans, mystics, I like to say shamama, ancient wise women, the grandmothers of the group, the tribal elders, they said that they couldn't know these things. They were unable to know these things without schooling, without a systematic of understanding of studying knowledge. They didn't believe in innate knowledge. Now, I will have to say, I came back from my near-death experience and I didn't have to study anything. Pretty much everything that I know or say, I already knew from the near-death experience. It was an immediate access to a level of knowledge that I had not known. So, and that's happened to other people, like Matt Kahn has had the same kind of allowance of knowledge. So when we talk about current philosopher, yes, but I'm talking about the great philosophers, the ones that we read about in history, Plato, Socrates, Aristotle, those types of philosophers. They would not allow that beautiful female energy anywhere in that category, because that knowledge is beyond theirs. Logic has limits. The heart is unlimited. A woman uses her heart first. A man uses his head first. He uses logic. And you know what? Love is illogical. It's illogical to love someone in the face of being hurt. But a woman will do this with great poise and strength. And that was threatening to the great philosophers. And anyone can stand against me on that. But I will tell you, as much as if I was there with them, they were not happy. Mary Magdalene did not get her credit where credit was due because of this process, this chauvinism. And this masculinity has existed as a mask over everything for the past 3,000 years, and it will not stand any longer. As I have said, I will not say #MeToo. I have been approached. I have been abused in the sense as from threats from people trying to tell me in Hollywood, if you do this, you will get this. If you don't, you won't. You will be blacklisted. So I could say #MeToo, but I'm not going to, because I feel that that keeps me in the past. It keeps my power sitting there. I say #no more. And if you want to say it seriously, I say #hell no more, no more. #no more. We stop. We start again. We are starting from a new place. We're going to connect to source as much as possible. This has got to stop. This false sense of masculinity. That's not being a man. It's not how the rules have been written are not that of love and kindness and compassion. And that's where we're going to find this new level of awareness. And Oprah is right. That's why I posted that quote. That's why I've given women's empowerment for the past 20 years. Does that make me a perfect man? Hell no. I fail just like everybody. Like I said, I've broken hearts just like everybody. I've had my heart broken just like everybody. But you know what? I am, like in my dedication to my father in my book, my father showed me that every man makes mistakes, but he also showed me that only real men learn from them. And that's where I'll be. And I'm going to empower women because I believe in a better society. I believe in a brighter society. I believe that with the compassion that women have in their heart, it will override illogical logic. This is illogical to kill the planet that you live on. This is illogical to kill the animals that live here. This is illogical to live a life of self-destruction. It does not compute. And my heart would see this with the great potential that exists in a flexible nature of nurture. I should nurture my environment. I should nurture my relationships. I should nurture the things around me. But why do I go and destroy it with the mind of a man, a false sense of ideals? Sorry for my rant. I apologize, but that's just what I'm impassioned about. Hello, Lisa. That's just what I say. Hashtag no more. No more. We don't need any more of this male mind. We don't. We need some change. We need some sustenance. We need a nurturer. I want to be the baby connected to source, vulnerable, and understanding that source is guiding me. And source to me says that women need to be in charge. I will support them. I will protect them. I will open the doors for them. I will pave the way for them. I will make that smooth sailing. I will make that road as smooth as possible. But I believe that we need heart. Heart is going to help us. No more logic. No more logic. Illogical love is the only love. Imperfectly perfect is the only perfect. So I'm out as 2627. I love all of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being so supportive. Tomorrow will be the YouTube video, and I'm launching a 21-day program that is an intensive soul-to-soul, becoming your best self program. And then my book will be coming out, I think, next week. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. It's so thick, though. You could hurt someone with it. It's crazily thick. It's 285 pages, like this thick. I could like knock out somebody. Is it an ebook also? Evangeline, it's going to be an hardback, a soft hardback, paperback, a Kindle book, and a Audible book. And then I've got a workbook that's coming out right afterwards in a month from that. It's a companion workbook for the audiobook. The audiobook is free flow. It is, I just took the book and I just went with it and I made it mine. It's like I do my shows. So it's going to be unscripted. It's not going to be 100% the book. It's 8 hours of the book, but the way I do it. So it's going to be really involved, energetic, and it's that high energy that you all are used to. It's not just blah, 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 blah. It's me doing it. It's not some weirdo reading it. Well, no, it is a weirdo reading it, but it's just this weirdo. You don't need to let your computer read it to me. I read it. Peace, light, and love. I love all of you. Have a beautiful, wonderful 111111